I was hauling a barnyard of pigs the other day, and by the time I got home, I couldn't even smell my own feet. I still can't smell. Ruined my nose.
This guy in the billiard room says he can beat you. He says he can put you down in 10 seconds.
Oh, no thanks. I just got in.
Here he comes.
I'm gonna put you down, champ.
I really don't want to.
Why not?
I don't want to take your money.
Shit.
You don't fight. I'm gonna tear your head off.
Mind if I finish my lunch first?
When you're ready, I'll be in the back room shooting pool.
Damn, he's got a grip.
Did you see the arms on him? Well, from what I hear, he's a local smoky over at that old bauxite ghost town. They call it Texas City now.
Don't mean a damn thing, does it, J.D.? It's what's up here that counts.
Nobody push nobody in the crowd.
Hey, boy. Come here. We're gonna kick your butt all the way back to Highway 99, boy. We ain't through with you yet. Look.
You've heard, boy.
I don't give a damn about your moonshine, your rip-offs, or any other part of this town. All I want to know is where my brother is.
Maybe we ought to step over to the police department.
I'm not going anywhere until I find out where my brother is.
Wilford. Where force is necessary, there it shall be applied boldly, decisively, and completely. Get him!
I'm gonna stick you.
The story begins with celebrations in an isolated town that has just achieved a major milestone. The settlement has officially been granted a municipal charter by the state of California. The man responsible for this achievement is Judge Joshua Trimmings. Standing proudly before the townsfolk, he delivers a speech filled with pride and emotion.
The state of California, in spite of its obstructions, red tape, and pig-headedness, has granted us a city charter!
During the speech, he announces that the town will now be called Texas City, named in honor of his late son Tex. Trimmings promises the crowd that they will no longer be looked down upon or insulted as gypsies by the rest of the state. As their leader and judge, he vows to serve them fairly and protect their community.
I give you Texas City, California!
The scene then shifts to the open highway where we meet John Dawes, a well-known and respected figure in the trucking community. Over the CB radio, he is recognized by his famous handle, Breaker Breaker, a nickname earned from his reputation as a skilled martial artist. John skillfully navigates his massive truck to the terminal and drops off his younger brother, Billy, who is preparing for his very first solo job hauling a load of TV dinners. While at the terminal, John meets his friend Dolly. Her trucker husband was recently beaten and left paralyzed by a crooked officer named Sergeant Strode in Texas City.
Got beat up by an animal named Strode in Texas City. Paralyzed his whole right side. I've been driving Jack's rig ever since he went into the hospital. I never thought I'd ever let a man see me cry.
That's all right. I won't tell anybody.
John comforts her and reassures her that things will get better.
Billy, this is your first solo run.
Before Billy leaves, John gives him some final advice and allows him to use his CB handle Breaker Breaker. However, John also gives Billy a serious warning: stay away from Texas City at all costs.
Southbound on 99.
As Billy drives along the highway, he chats casually with other truckers on his CB radio. During one of these conversations, another trucker convinces him to take a side road to avoid the way stations, suggesting that the TV dinner company might have overloaded his trailer.
You can take the 120 down to 5. Probably get a clean run.
Thank you much, Red Dog. I'm moving.
And 4 good buddies.
Unfortunately, the so-called friendly trucker is actually Sergeant Strode, a corrupt police officer who uses the CB radio to trick truckers into taking that side road, which leads directly to Texas City, a town secretly controlled by Judge Trimmings and a gang of crooked deputies who prey on unsuspecting drivers.
What do you know about a man named Strode?
Well, from what I hear, he's a local smoky over at that old bauxite ghost town. They call it Texas City now.
Later that evening, John meets his friend Burton and asks him about a man named Strode in Texas City. Burton explains that Strode, acting on Judge Trimmings' orders, has been luring truckers and tourists off the highway in order to extort money from them. Before they can finish their conversation, a local thug approaches John and loudly challenges him to an arm wrestling match in front of the other customers. The thug threatens to rip John's head off if he refuses.
Mind if I finish my lunch first?
When you're ready, I'll be in the back room shooting pool.
Meanwhile, Billy encounters his first sign of trouble on the road. A local deputy deliberately parks his patrol car in the middle of the road. Billy reacts quickly, slamming on the brakes and bringing his huge rig to a screeching stop just inches from the cruiser. The deputy named Bowles offers no apology. Instead, he calmly tells Billy that there has been an accident further down the road and that he must take a dirt road to get around it.
That looks like a pretty bad road. You think I can make it?
Well, I guess you just have to unless you want to go back.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Trusting the officer, Billy follows the signs, unaware that he has just been guided directly into a trap. The dirt road eventually leads Billy straight into Texas City. Once he arrives, Sergeant Strode pulls him over and takes him to Judge Trimmings, who is clearly drunk.
The Municipal Court of Texas City is now in session. The Honorable Judge Joshua G. Trimmings is presiding.
You Mr. Dawes?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dawes, you're charged with speeding, failure to post a shipper's name in the proper place, failure to keep a log, driving an overweight truck, and resisting arrest. How do you please?
The judge delivers an absurd sentence. Billy must either pay a fine of $250 in cash or spend 250 days in the town jail. Realizing that he has been set up, Billy tries to escape. He suddenly leaps through a glass window and makes a run for it. However, Strode and Bowles quickly corner him. The two deputies brutally beat Billy until he loses consciousness and then drag him away to a hidden junkyard. Back at the diner, John finally accepts the arm wrestling challenge. He defeats the thug fairly and easily. However, Kaminsky refuses to accept defeat and angrily punches John in the face. John immediately retaliates, beating Kaminsky in a fight. With the help of several customers in the bar, John also defeats Kaminsky's thugs before calmly walking away. Later, John is teaching meditation to a group of students when he begins to worry about Billy, who is not checked in.
Hello?
Check with the Highway Patrol. There's no record of any accident. What do you think?
Burton calls him with troubling news. Burton explains that he contacted the Highway Patrol and found no record of any accident on the route Billy was supposed to take. He also checked with the scale station, and Billy never arrived there either. Burton fears that Billy may have been hijacked somewhere near Texas City.
Thanks, Burton.
Right.
I'll handle it.
The following morning, John drives his van toward Texas City. He sneaks into town using a back road, but two local thugs mistake him for a revenue agent and open fire.
That turkey ain't gonna come around here no more.
One of the bullets punctures the radiator of his van, forcing him to seek repairs at a garage in town. At the garage, John meets Arnie, a strange man who appears mentally unstable. Despite his odd behavior, Arnie immediately takes a liking to John and tries to help him. Arnie tells John that he must wait for his brother Wade, claiming that Wade can fix anything. If John needs a replacement radiator right away, Arnie suggests checking at George's garage further down the road. John leaves to look for the part. However, Wade had actually been inside the garage the entire time, secretly observing the conversation. Wade sternly warns Arnie never to interact with outsiders again. John then goes to the police station hoping to find his brother. Instead, he discovers that both deputies are out on patrol and the jail is completely empty.
Sergeant Strode and Deputy Bowles is on patrol.
Who's in authority when they're out?
Judge Trimmings in authority when they're gone and when they're here.
Where can I find him?
In the bar.
A trustee advises John to check the bar where Judge Trimmings usually spends his time, but when John arrives there, the judge is already too drunk to have a conversation. John then visits George's garage to buy the radiator. George sells him an old, worn radiator but charges him the price of a brand new one. Even so, John pays for it and asks whether George has seen his brother. Like everyone else in Texas City, George claims that he knows nothing. Meanwhile, Sergeant Strode and Deputy Bowles examine the registration for John's van and discover that he shares the same last name and address as the kid.
Wasn't that kid named Dawes? Same address, too.
When they report this to Judge Trimmings, the judge immediately orders them to arrest John for willfully evading a speed limit.
Coffee? Please.
That evening, John sits in the local diner speaking with a waitress named Arlene, who seems sympathetic about his search for Billy. The cook, however, treats John with open hostility and warns Arlene not to get too friendly with a stranger. As John leaves the place, Strode and Bowles confront him outside the diner with their batons drawn. They threaten to beat John and drive him out of town.
We're gonna kick your butt all the way back to Highway 99, boy. We ain't through with you yet.
Using his martial arts skills, John quickly defeats both officers and leaves them lying on the floor before escaping. John hides along the road outside town until Arlene and her young son drive past. He flags them down and asks for help. Arlene allows him to accompany them to her home, where John calls Burton. Burton informs him that truckers across the state have started searching for Billy.
The CB's buzzing up and down the coast. Every trucker in California is looking for Billy.
Arlene then explains that she is the widow of Judge Trimmings' son and that she has no real family ties left in Texas City. As John and Arlene take a walk through the woods nearby, they realize that they are developing romantic feelings for each other. Later that day, Judge Trimmings holds a town meeting where his followers report on their various illegal operations. Wade announces that his moonshine stills are running at full capacity, and George reports that the salvage yard is thriving, thanks to all the scrap metal from impounded vehicles. Suddenly, John storms into the meeting and demands to know where his brother is. The judge's men see this as a sign of disrespect toward their community and immediately attack him.
I'm gonna stick you.
John fights them off and escapes the building. He jumps into his van after getting the keys from Arnie and leads the town's 2 patrol cars on a high-speed chase through the surrounding hills. Eventually, John manages to evade Strode and Bowles. He hides his van behind Arlene's house and spends the night there with her. Early the next morning, Wade flies his helicopter over the area and spots John's van near Arlene's house. He immediately reports the discovery to Strode. Inside the house, John and Arlene sit down for breakfast, eating TV dinners. When John asks where the meals came from, Arlene's son casually explains that Arnie brought them a large stack a few days earlier. Realizing what that means, John suddenly jumps to his feet. If those TV dinners came from Billy's shipment, then Billy's truck must be at the salvage yard. John drives his van near the yard, hides it, and sneaks inside among the piles of wrecked cars. However, Wade spots him from the helicopter and warns George. George is already operating the massive car crusher. He grabs a pickaxe and goes after John. The two men fight, and John demands that George confess what happened to Billy. Instead, George looks toward the crusher. Horrified, John realizes that his brother may have been crushed there. While John is distracted, George strikes him with a piece of metal and knocks him unconscious. George then lifts John's body and dumps him into the crusher before turning the machine on. At the last possible moment, John kicks George in the jaw and escapes just seconds before the crusher slams down. When news of George's death reaches town, Judge Trimmings and the deputies head to Arlene's house. The judge blames Arlene for George's death and threatens to take his grandson away from her.
Oh, what are you doing now?
Terrified, the boy runs away and hides. The judge and Strode return to town but leave Bowles behind to watch Arlene.
You stay with her just in case she gets any heroic notions.
Meanwhile, John goes to the town bar looking for Judge Trimmings. Wade sneaks up behind him with a rifle, forces him to march to the jail, and locks him inside a cell. Soon afterward, Judge Trimmings arrives and coldly sentences John to death for killing George.
The people of Texas City have suffered a great deal at your hands, Mr. Dawes. Are you listening to me, Mr. Dawes? Yes, of course, you're listening to me. It's according to the laws of this community. Now, I have examined the case against you, Mr. Dawes, and I find you guilty of murder. I sentence you to death.
Back at her house, Arlene quietly sneaks out to the garage and escapes on a motorcycle. Unfortunately, she hits a bump that causes the bike to crash, throwing her to the ground. Although shaken, she is unharmed. As she walks over a nearby hill, She spots an abandoned highway patrol vehicle parked by the road with its police radio still working. Arlene grabs the microphone and broadcasts a desperate call to every trucker in the area, warning them that John is in serious trouble in Texas City. Out on Highway 99, CB radios across the highway begin to crackle with the message. One by one, 7 massive semi-trucks hauling heavy trailers exit the highway and head toward Texas City. Inside the town, Strode and Bowles set up a roadblock to stop them. But the truck drivers smash straight through the barricade and storm into the town. At the same time, Wade unlocks John's jail cell and leads him out the back door, preparing to execute him. When Arnie tries to stop his brother, the rifle accidentally fires. The bullet grazes John but mortally wounds Arnie. Filled with guilt and regret, Wade finally breaks down and tells John the truth. Billy is still alive and tied up in the horse barn. John rushes to the barn, but by the time he arrives, Deputy Bowles has already untied Billy and begun beating him with a baton. Furious, John attacks Bowles and kicks him straight through a wooden wall. Meanwhile, the convoy of trucks crashes into Texas City, smashing through buildings and tearing the place apart. One truck plows directly into Judge Trimming's house and bursts through the front door. Another truck slams into Wade's helicopter, turning it into a blazing fireball. As Texas City burns in chaos, John finds Bowles in the barn corral, drunkenly drinking from a bottle of liquor. John challenges him to a one-on-one fight. After a brutal struggle, John finally defeats the corrupt deputy and ends the fight with a powerful flying kick that knocks Bowles unconscious. Subscribe for more dramas like this, and don't forget to like this video, it really helps the channel grow.